Hello beautiful people, welcome to the channel, Reverend Debbie here. So today I am reviewing the Stevie Nicks concert that I attended last night at the Co-op Live in Manchester, and I will say that she is just awesome. Now I'm reading this from my diary because at 3 o'clock this morning I got back home and the adrenaline was pumping and the words were in my mouth and head and I had to get them down on paper. So please forgive me if I'm looking down at my notes a lot today. She's just awesome. She is awesome. Every video that you have ever seen of her is her. She is Stevie Nicks. There is nobody else in this world like her. Nobody else in this world who has her voice. And she's unique. She is the goddess, the queen, and wow. She sang all of the favourites. Obviously, she couldn't go through all of them with the limited time that we have here in the UK. Curfew is strict. You go over the curfew, you have to pay extra as the artist. The stadium exploded with magic as she walked on. She is a hippie, but she also shows this innocence, even though she has years of not being innocent behind her. But she is a beautiful goddess daughter on earth. I'm so grateful that I got to see her at this gig. I really am. I wasn't going to go. And then I thought, you know what, let me check the ticket prices. And the ticket prices had come down slightly. I thought, okay, Debs, do this. Go and see her. She is one of your idols. And the amazing thing is the audience was filled with women. I would say it was probably 80% women. And nearly every single woman was dressed in homage to Stevie, myself included. She was just, there were women in floaty gypsy dresses, skirts, very bohemian. There were women with hats, with scarves, with crocheted cloaks, and it was just amazing. I mean, personally, I went in a black skirt, sort of a goth skirt with some stockings and boots, obviously always boots, and I had a t-shirt on, but over that I bought this beautiful cloak online, which arrived before if the gig had not been rescheduled, I wouldn't have had that cloak to go in, but because it had been rescheduled, I did have that cloak. And I must tell you, I was sat up in the gods, the cheap seats, but the sound was incredible. Now I have recorded quite a few tracks from last night, and I've just done little bits of them. I don't film the whole song because I want to enjoy the show and sing along. And in fact, in some of the videos, you'll probably hear me and the people that were around me singing as well, because the entire audience was singing. Everybody was singing. I have this thing where if I see a woman who is dressed awesomely, I tell her that, because it takes a lot for women to dress up in that sort of fashion, in that style. You do get stared at, you do get looked at, but you know, so what? So what? I think that every woman has the right to dress like that if she wants to, and she deserves to be given those compliments for having the courage to dress like that. And not only that, but she just looked, you know, everybody just looked amazing. And we need to compliment each other more. I think it's really good for our own self-esteem. So Stevie was gracious and she bowed and gave a gesture to us pretty much after every song. I mean, the applause was deafening. She was just amazing. Even throughout the songs, when the guitarist was playing a lead, or, you know, the keyboard player also did some really fantastic stuff as well. So it was, and the drummer, everybody involved was just amazing. So she actually said throughout the gig or afterwards that she gives so much love into her shows. And I can believe that. And yet everybody in that audience gave so much love back to her. She said she could feel it, and I believe that. I've sung on stage. I know what it's like. I've never sung in front of that amount of people, but you feel this love coming from these people that are watching you and supporting you and that have paid a fortune for tickets. But it's not only that, it is the fact that she's 76 and she had to reschedule her gig from the previous week because she had a minor operation on her leg. And towards the end of the gig, you could see she was limping slightly, but she still spun and wore her cloaks and her different clothes. And she was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. You know, she's got her tassels, she's got these amazing cloaks, and some of them were the original cloaks that she wore on stage for those songs and in videos for those songs. So I can't tell you how amazing it was to experience something that happened 30, 40, 50 years ago, and she's still the same person inside. Bit wiser, maybe. Her version of Gypsy was beautiful. It's one of my favourite songs. The video for that is something that I watched years ago when I was young, and the picture that it painted sort of brought out the hippie goth in me, and the sort of shawls and tiered lead skirts and hippie hair and flowers in our hair and so on. So I just mixed mine with a bit of goth. But it was just amazing to see her on stage, still doing the thing that she loves the most in the world. Stop Dragging My Heart Around. She sang with her vocal coach. That was a song that she used to sing with Lindsey Buckingham. Of course, her and Lindsey Buckingham had a very tumultuous relationship. It was very up and down. And I must admit, the vocal coach was amazing. And Stevie's quite dismissive of Lindsey Buckingham in her life, and I think that although they had this great love, it was very ill-fated. I think that a lot of us women can relate to that, especially those who view this channel. Dreams was dreamy. It was just beautiful. I absolutely love that song. It brings back so many memories for me when I used to work in the music industry. Her vocal arrangements were slightly different. So the arrangements of the songs, the actual music was slightly different to how it's played on the records. And her octave levels were slightly different. She's 76. Obviously, her voice has changed over the years, but she still has that husky, sexy, beautiful, rich, chocolatey voice. She did a cover of Buffalo Springfield's song For What It's Worth, which paid homage to Stephen Stills in her life. He wrote that song with her in mind, and he said to her she could have that song. And it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It was a part of her life when she was living in LA in the early days of her career, where she was just part of that scene. And I understand that completely. When you get part of a music scene at a specific time, a specific place, it's magical. The highlight for me was Edge of 17. She walked out to that and the stadium erupted. And I've got some footage of that, which I'll put on a little bit later today, so you can watch that if you want to. I think it's about 4 minutes long, that one. So I did film quite a bit of that video because it's one of my favourites. And I couldn't film the whole thing because I wanted to watch and be a part of that experience as well. But everybody sang. I think everybody sang to every song. I was sat between two ladies, one on the right-hand side of me, didn't know many Stevie Nicks songs, but she said, I know this one, when she knew one of the songs. The lady on the left of me was a massive Stevie fan, so we were belting out our words. Towards the end, she did the encore of Rhiannon and Landslide. And I think in Landslide, most of us cried. There were tears. Just beautiful, beautiful songs. It was just an amazing gig. Guys, if you ever get to see Stevie Nicks, go see her. I wish I'd have been able to afford to go see Fleetwood Mac. I think it was 2 years ago, but I couldn't. but please go see Stevie. I'm going to pop some links to some of her videos in the description box below, so those of you who don't know her work or who want to listen to her work again can have a listen. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please give me a like on the way out, and I hope to see you next time. Blessed be.